call the Thursday, June 15th, Town of Rome Board Meeting to order. Roll call, starting on my left.
Capel here.
Mitchell here.
Jumati here.
Cole here.
Bowerheit here.
Right. We'll approve the agenda with just a few slight,
Certify.
oh, I'm sorry. Crossed it out. We had a long meeting. Sorry, folks. Certify the posting of the meeting.
I certify that on Monday, June 12th, 2023, the agenda for the Town of Rome Board meeting for Thursday, June 15th, 2023 was posted at the Rome Town Hall at 10:10 a.m., Quick Trip LLC at 10:21 a.m., Nakusa Port Edward State Bank at 10:15 a.m., and emailed to the Wisconsin Rapids Tribune at 10:04 a.m.
Okay. Well, number 4, we'll move to approve the agenda and with a few slight changes. And I'm going to ask for one other slight change here too, prior our discussion here. Number 14, number 28, and I see some other folks here that'll probably be waiting too. What was the other one?
I see Heartland is here and the ordinance change, so that would be 15 and 17 if you wanted to take those.
Yes, 15 and 17, we'll move those up prior to number 9, please, and we will delete number 16 because that did not go through Plan Commission.
Did you mention 28 also?
Yes.
Okay.
So again, that would be number 14, 15, and 17, and 28 up before number 9, and remove number 16.
I move to approve today's agenda with the changes as noted.
Second.
So we have a motion and second with the changes as noted. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So we'll start with number,
Pledge of Allegiance.
the Pledge of Allegiance. Number 6, citizen comments. Do we have any orange cards?
have an orange card.
We have one orange card, so I'll go ahead and read this. During the citizen comment period of the agenda, the town board welcomes comments from any town resident, not a member of the town board, on any item not on the agenda. Please note that pursuant to town law, the board cannot engage in conversation with you, but may ask questions. The board may refer the item to staff, a standing committee, or a future board agenda for discussion and action. Each person wishing to speak will have up to 3 minutes to speak. Speakers are asked to submit a card to the clerk treasurer, providing their name, address, and topic for discussion. The board will also take comment from the public on agenda items as called by the chair, but not during citizen comment. Please note that once the board begins discussion on an agenda item, no further comment will be allowed from the public on that issue. So the orange card we have is from a John K. Andreezy, address 1591 Alpine Drive. And his item that he would like to comment on is the compression braking law and its enforcement. Mr. Andreezy, would you like to come up, please, and make sure the red button's on so we can hear you?
Madam Chairman, members of the board, yes, compression braking is the topic for my little diatribe here. I'm kind of curious as to, well, I'm not curious. I do know that the town does have a law on the books in regard to compression braking. As noted earlier, when I was introduced, I live on Alpine Drive. Actually, I'm the last house on Alpine Drive just before it meets County Z. For those who may not be familiar with that piece of road, I'm at the very bottom of the hill there. There is a company that hauls scrap steel from the Nakusa salvage yard up in Saratoga on an almost daily basis. They haul with a very, very large truck, a number of trucks. They make multiple hauls some days. more often than not, their hauls start, they come by my house at 5:30, 5:45 in the morning. They're not the only people that use compression braking, but they're probably the most egregious of the bunch. And I'm not trying to point fingers just to do that. They're extremely noisy. That compression braking is enough to shake the ground. I would ask that the town see to the possibility of putting signage up on Alpine Drive indicating the law in regards to compression braking. As I understand the law, compression braking can be used in a situation where there's an emergency. Frankly, I don't consider personally a hill to be an emergency. It might be a possible emergency in cases of inclement weather. Given that, I think a driver ought to know that, and these guys are doing this on a regular basis. They do it all the time. So again, I don't mean to point fingers at one outfit in particular, but they're the ones that make noise. Signage and then follow it up. I asked our town administrator to speak with the chief to see about possible patrol activity in regard to that. It's a difficult sort of a thing to ask one of our squads to sit in a physical stopped location for any length of time to try to capture something like that. So given that, the signage would alert the people of a possibility that it would be enforced. And then I would ask after that the town do take care of it and put a squad out and please enforce the law. I understand that there is a signage up on Z, or on D on the other end here as you enter town. So what's good for one end should be good for the other.
Okay.
Thank you.
For your comments.
Thanks for
and
hearing
we'll-
me.
Yep, and we'll pass this
Good
along.
night, everybody.
Yep, you too. Thank you. Okay. No action contemplated except possible referral to future agenda. Number 7, informational updates, meeting recaps, recent correspondence, current events, and announcements. Starting on my left,
I have nothing.
Supervisor Minter.
Would just like to say that the library shredding event was a great success. There was many tons of paper collected and shredded. It was hot work, but we thank all the volunteers that came up from the Friends of the Library to help direct traffic and man that station. The summer reading program is up and going, so remember, children ages 0 to 18 can come in. It's Camp Kindness is the theme this year, and you can earn camp bucks to redeem at the camp store for various prizes. So you don't have to wait till the end of summer to get your prize. If you read enough books, you can get what you want, and I understand there's a stuffed ocelot that is very popular. So if you want the ocelot, read quick. And then at the end of June, we'll have another service interruption related to the South Central Library System. They had planned their move to their new location over the Memorial Day weekend. Unfortunately, they didn't have all the permits they needed from the city of Madison to move. So their move has been rescheduled to the weekend of June 28th. The library will be open, but they won't be able to have internet access or check out books. So they have activities planned that don't involve the use of internet or checking out books. And we hope that they'll actually get the move done so that the rest of summer can go through without any interruption whatsoever. That's all I have. Yeah, June 28th, for like 3-4 days right after that.
Supervisor Cole.
This Saturday is the Mini Mutter in town. This is a really popular event for families and kids. So that is this Saturday at the Tri-North. And you can sign up in advance by going to visit romewi.com, or you can sign up on site, I understand. And the hours are 8 a.m. to 12 noon. So it's a fantastic event and fun time. So just put that on your calendars if your grandkids are looking for something to do on Saturday.
Supervisor Bauerheit.
I really have nothing new other than to say that the band shell is progressing as promised, so we're looking at a mid-August completion date.
We mentioned the Snow Bandits car show is tomorrow, also in Rome Town Center from Saturday.
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 We might still
Oh,
be here.
today is Thursday. Thank you. I was a day ahead. So Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Rome Town Center.
Now, sometimes we like to skip over Fridays and get right into
Yeah.
that Saturday mode. but-
Thank
Fast
you
forwarding.
for remembering.
These meetings are long enough sometimes, it seems like Friday.
Alrighty then. Oh, and Tunes on the Turn started on Thursdays, so that's tonight too, if we get out of here soon enough.
No
All right,
pressure.
no pressure. But, okay, at Lake Arrowhead, so, great music. And Hoozles has their music revving up every Friday, Saturday, too, so. All right. Number 8, department and committee reports.
Happy to take questions if there are any.
I actually had a few of them. Let's see here. Oh, and just to point out, if anybody had any questions, I did attend the meeting with the DOT when they were here. They will be doing some work, but they won't actually get it started and completed a couple of years down the road that we had, with hopes of avoiding some traffic issues up on Apache and Highway 13, so that'll be good, but that's all they really can recommend doing for us at this time. But, the one question I did have, but I see the fire chief had already left, so maybe you can forward that on to him, is, he had a meeting with Saratoga EMS. You wouldn't happen to know what that was in regards to?
I do know that he is assisting Saratoga. They needed updating to their community wildfire protection plan, and so I
Oh.
know that he has been meeting with them and staff that would be related to that to get that plan updated. He's
Oh,
just
so that's for EMS, for fire and wildfire
It
and,
could have also been with their EMS though as part of the overall items. That would be how would they respond as part of that plan, or what would their role be?
okay. And there was, let's see here. There was something in the police chief's report, and I just wanted to point this out, the phone number, even though he's in the audience, and I won't make him come up and do it himself. I'll just read the number. If you see boating incidents, we're really enforcing these rules this summer. So, we have, 4 officers on the roster this summer for our boating season, so, and they'll be working hard, for enforcement on the lakes. So if you see anything that's being done in an unsafe manner, there's a number you can call and report it to immediately. So the number's 877-885-9977, option 0. So work with us and we'll work with you to take care of those matters.
Can you read that faster?
Sure. 877, no, 877-885-9977, option 0.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see. Oh, there was, in the road report, there was repair shoulder on Archer Avenue. Do you know what that repair work was? Or maybe you can get back to us on that. That was just one question I had there. And that was it I had for my questions on reports. Anybody else? Nope. Okay, then, moving on to discussion and possible action on the following items, and we'll start with number 14. Discussion and possible action for approval of resolution number 23, resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of 1,380,000 general obligation promissory notes, series 223A, or 2023A, I'm sorry, my mistake.
So Greg Johnson from Ellers is back this evening to share the results. The sale of the notes was this morning. You do
Oh, we
have
needed a
an-
motion first, sorry, Jamie, we needed a
Okay.
motion first, sorry, and a second. Thank you.
I'll move the item.
A second.
Okay, a second and a motion and a second has been made, now you can proceed.
You do have an updated sale report that talks about what occurred this morning, and Greg will walk us through it, but it was all very good news.
Thank you, Jamie. Good afternoon, everyone. Just a quick recap, a reminder, this note issue is funding road improvements in the town, most notably the improvements that have been underway on Apache Avenue. So this morning, the note sale was conducted. There were a total of 4 bids received on the notes. The winning bid was submitted by Baird out of Milwaukee with a final true interest cost of 3.2912%. The total net principal and interest on the 10-year life of the notes is $33,430 less than our pre-sale estimate. So less debt service costs than the estimate we presented to you last month. I'm going to walk through the exhibits that are included after the executive summary, just to give you a kind of a recap of the note sale. The first document is the bid tabulation. That just shows all the bids that were received. The bid gets awarded based on the lowest true interest cost percentage. So that's the lowest true interest cost percentage is how we recommend the award based on the bids that were received. Next is Table 1, which is labeled the sources and uses. This just shows that the amount that you're borrowing for project costs is approximately $1.3 million. The final issuance expenses came in less than estimated, and there was also what's called a premium bid, where the underwriter agrees to provide the town some excess cash. That gets used for two purposes. One, it's used to downsize, cover their compensation, which allows you to reduce the amount you're borrowing. And second, some of that cash gets deposited into your debt service fund to help pay the interest expense on the notes. So the actual amount that you're borrowing is $1,355,000. So that's $25,000 less than the amount that was authorized. So you have the same amount for project costs, but have to issue fewer notes to pay for it, which is always a good outcome. Table 2 shows the net principal and interest payments over the 10-year life of the notes. So as I mentioned, there'll be some deposit, some premium to cover the interest expense in 2024 in full, and then a portion of it in 2025. And so again, that net principal and interest cost over 10 years is $1,634,079, which is $33,430 less than what we'd estimated last month. Table 3 shows the fiscal impact of this to the town's debt service levy, incorporating your existing debt and these proposed notes. So in the far left-hand column of Table 3, it shows your existing levy for debt service. So your levy for debt in your budget for 2023 was approximately $575,311. With the premium covering some of the interest expense on these notes in 2024, your levy for debt service from 2023 to 2024 essentially is going to be unchanged. So there'll be no significant change in your levy for debt service for next year. And then when the payments on these notes start in fiscal year 2025, that coincides with some of your existing loan payments decreasing. So even by borrowing, this $1.3 million for road projects, your debt service levy is not going to increase because we've wrapped it around the decrease of your existing payments. So a nice outcome where you can fund the projects, not see your levy have to go up as a result. So the final table is Table 4. That's just your general obligation borrowing limit. These notes count towards your total amount of principal you can have outstanding of general obligation debt. The town has a significant amount of its debt borrowing capacity remaining. With these notes at the end of the fiscal year, you'll be at about 21% of your limit. Legally, the town could borrow up to $42.3 million. Not recommending you do that, but it shows you have more than sufficient capacity to finance other capital projects in the future should you need to. The other attachment that's included in our sale report is the rating report from Moody's Investor Services. The town got its first rating from Moody's about 3 years ago. It was AA3. We applied for kind of a new rating through this process. Your existing rating was affirmed, which is a great outcome. Encourage you to kind of review the rating report at your leisure. Provides very favorable comments on the town's overall financial position and just the general state of the economy as well. So, the things that are within the town's direct control, like your fund balance, the amount of cash and liquidity you maintain, very favorable comments, and a AA3 rating, lends itself well to getting lower interest rates. So the action before you was the resolution. Again, I'll note the actual amount you're borrowing is $1,355,000. Should you choose to accept this bid, there's a bid form that'll be signed by the town chair and a staff member this evening, just as evidence that you've accepted the bid. And then the closing and the receipt of funds will occur in early July, in time to have the funds to make your payments for the work that's been underway. So with that, I am happy to answer any questions.
good news. This is really good news. Thank you, Greg, very much.
You're welcome.
Anybody have any questions?
No.
You do not?
I'm assuming we need a
Supervisor
motion.
Kevin.
We have a motion, we need to vote.
So,
We have one, okay.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank
Greg,
you.
thank you for being an excellent town partner for many, many years.
You're welcome. Thank you. I
How many
appreciate the
years has it
opportunity.
been?
17.
That's right. Thank you.
I'll make a photocopy of this and we can.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a safe trip home.
Will do.
All right, so, 15, yeah, we'll move down to, I just gotta get my throat cleared. All right, so we're gonna go down now to number 15, item 15. Do we need to wait for Jamie? Was she getting a copy for, or is that for, okay. Discussion and possible action. Approval of ordinance number 23. Recommendation from Plan Commission regarding consideration of the proposed comprehensive plan map 9. Amendment from forestry to rural residents and zoning map amendment from forestry and outdoor recreation district to R4 rural residence district relating to the property owned by Mark and Christina Stelzner. Thank you. Also described as Government Lot 4, located in Section 3, Town 20 North, Range 06 East, Town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, with a parcel number of 030-00524-0000. Total area, 40 acres. Need a motion?
I'd like to move approval of the item,
I'll second the motion.
Oh,
Go ahead.
all right.
and then I have a comment. I want the board members to know that during the planning commission meeting, I voted against this item. Based on our previous discussions earlier this evening, I have changed my opinion, and I will vote yes for this.
And I will also add to that discussion, at Planning Commission the other evening, we met this family, and it's very difficult. We're in the process of updating the strategic, or the comprehensive town plan, and we're going from one to a new, and after, again, I have to parrot what Supervisor Capel said, and I am going to also move in favor of making this change for this family. So, seeing how our town is evolving around us, and we really have no, but, yes.
Madam Chair, if I could,
Yes.
Just because there's a number of items in your packet I'd like to speak to.
Yes.
Items that are in your packet, but also items that came out of the Plan Commission meeting this week. So this item, as you see, relates to a request to amend the comp plan's future land use map, as well as a rezone to the parcel. The Plan Commission did consider this item at its June 13th meeting, where a public hearing was held, after which the Plan Commission recommended approval of the comprehensive plan map amendment and the rezone with the following conditions that I'd like to read in. First, that any future land division request, regardless of lots created, must return to the Plan Commission for approval. Second, that 38 acres of the property must remain as an undeveloped natural area. I would also note, as a final note, that this parcel is a bit unique in that it's landlocked. Okay, so that would very much limit any ability to divide, in regards to our land division ordinance, we have limitations on any ability to subdivide parcels that don't have the appropriate road frontage. So there are limitations anyway by ordinance to any division, but the recommendation from the Plan Commission is kind of a further underline to the idea that this doesn't get divided in the future, and that it remain largely forestry and outdoor recreation. Thank you.
The signed copy from Plan Commission was at your desk tonight.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Welcome. Okay. Then number 17, Discussion and possible action, recommendation from the Plan Commission regarding consideration of the site plan of operation for Heartland Custom Homes, Inc. for the property located at 1144 County Highway D, also described as Lot 1 of CSM 5725, located in the southwest quarter, northeast quarter, Section 8, Town 20 North, Range 06 East, Town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, with a parcel number of 03006370010, total area of 1.4 acres.
I move that we approve the Plan Commission regarding consideration of a site plan of operation for Heartland Custom Homes.
I'll second. Did you want to say anything,
Yeah,
Nick, on this?
if I may, so just something similar to the last item, I'd just like to report on the Plan Commission's meeting. So the Plan Commission did consider this item. Technically, I believe this actually is an amendment to the site plan of operation. We had previously seen it and approved a slightly different use to the parcel. This is now proposing what I would call a mixed-use and multi-tenant commercial space, as you see in the packet. So at the Plan Commission meeting on June 13th, there was a public hearing, after which the Plan Commission did recommend approval of this site plan of operation with the following key conditions. So the first would be that it's subject to the approval by the fire chief related to emergency vehicle access and maneuverability on the site. Second, that any proposed tenant or use must come before the Plan Commission for approval. And just to give you a little bit of background on that, so of course it's a site plan of operation. In this case, there was more site plan probably than plan of operation, because there's prospective tenants, but we don't know who those are. And so the Plan Commission had wanted those uses and those tenants to come before the Plan Commission to review those and make sure that they're compatible with the permitted and conditional uses, frankly, on the property. And then third, that it's subject to approval of a landscape and signage plan by the Plan Commission. Thank you.
Any additional questions or discussion?
Matthew is here from Heartland Custom Homes also, if you had questions for him.
Matthew, did you want to add anything or say anything to the board, or any questions for me?
Any questions, I'm happy to answer.
No? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Right, and then item 28. Discussion and possible action, approval of a Class B beer license and Class C wine license for the period of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. Avocados 2 LLC, 386 State Road 13, Nakusa, Wisconsin, 54457.
I'll move the item.
Second.
Any discussion? Nick, any comments or any,
No comments.
right? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Did we want to introduce, is she here, or does anybody, do we want to meet them, or?
Here.
To say hi? Hi.
Hey, he's Jose, they call him Tony, he's the owner.
Okay.
I'm Elizabeth, everybody know me for Liz,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna be the waiter.
Okay. Well, it's nice to meet you. Welcome to the community.
Thank you so much.
Can't wait.
Thank you, thank you.
Alrighty, so now we move on to number 9. The board may go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute, section 19.85, 1, sub C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, clerk treasurer position, interview, review, received applications, and review compensation for interim clerk treasurer. Should we do number 10 right away too, because we'll stay in for both, or would we come out and,
Nope, so you just read that in closed session.
okay, I understand.
So I move that we go into closed session with regard to Wisconsin State Statute 19.85, sub 1, sub C.
Second.
Okay. Starting with a roll call vote on my left.
Capo, yes.
Minter, yes.
Jumati, yes.
Cole, yes.
Bauer Height, yes.
Okay. We'll go into closed session.
We will exit and go into the other room. Your agenda items that were completed, you're good to go. Have a good night.
Thank you, thank you.
I remind everyone, if you stay in this room, the mics stay live and the camera stays on during closed session. I'll be right back to grab you in one moment.
I tried to get it before the meeting, but we got tied up with it, so I couldn't tell you what I was gonna do.
No, but thank you.
We're more than, after I read this other thing, I was convinced you were doing the right thing. We're more willing to support what goes on in Rome. And I saw that, and I didn't really give you a hard time the other night, but
No, we understand.
I was,
Well, this is the first time we've ever done this, so you guys go, but
well,
thank you.
this is my first, that was my first.
But they brought food to Assumption.
It is.
Yeah, so.
Why did you do that? And, you know,
All right, enjoy your home.
We will, and I'm sure we'll see you and spend some time.
All right.
Take care, sir.
Thank you. Have a good night. We're not gonna roll.
You know, perfect, see ya.
I still.
Across front, yeah. Thank you. See you.
Where are you going?
Yeah, on
She does all the reading.
Three Lakes Bistro.
I listen to
Three Lakes Bistro, yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. See you later. Thank you, man. You're welcome.
No, because she's the work from electricity to plumbing to samples to trees to brush. Every time I go in there, can you fix this? Can you fix this?
See your master wall.
Master of all.
Oh, yeah.
Better than,
I'm the
or a jack wall.
Since I'm retired, I can do all that. That's nice to meet you.
According to Dan, you got an interesting book. So, for the children's side?
No.
Oh, the book that's going fast. What he mentioned, and he didn't catch it.
I think it was a prize that we were trying to get, okay, right?
Oh, yeah, I could see him with that prize.
There's some good prizes there for the kids. I wanted one, but she won't let me have it.
So if I read the book, if you read it,
Oh.
if you read enough, no, because you'll be under a certain age.
Yeah, it's really.
And it's not a certain age that you act,
Oh,
it's a certain age that you're alive.
chronologically, if you've been kicking dust,
She's probably listening to this laughing at home right now.
that's okay, it's all good. It's all good.
It is good.
So where's that section of property then, Matt? Where's that section of property that you guys are involved in?
It's right across the road.
Oh,
There was that old double wide trailer that
Yeah.
Terry Wolf was in.
Okay,
Okay.
so they have multiple tenants, they were saying?
We have people interested that we're trying to get pre-leased before, so we have it funded before we break ground.
Okay, so you're gonna get rid of the double wides?
Oh, them are gone already.
They're gone, okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's the, yeah.
That was like a week after I bought it.
There's gonna be a foundation, a real building there?
Yeah, yeah, two of them.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's a 25,000 square foot building, so it's all over multi.
You have a tenant for one.
Yeah, one's almost rented. We can get that one fully rented, then I'll bring both of them. My new office and available office.
You mean you're a tenant? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I have one company that's gonna build the building, and then my other company will rent from it, so I don't know if I can pay myself.
Yeah, that's just, you can just watch us.
Just watch the left pocket.
Like,
One goes empty as the other fills, so.
Yeah. Yeah, we're trying to get it to, kind of an entertaining space where people can go, to go have lunch meetings at the close and have sandwich and everything that's there. Can still do that a little bit here and there, so just trying to get a entertainment commonality.
Lunch shop or something?
Yeah, like a burger place and family entertainment space and people that are potentially bakery and coffee shop.
As much as they have some stuff at Quick Trip, it's not the same
Yeah, I'm a quick trip.
level
guy,
as
so-
Witzel's was.
Well, I didn't realize they were still making stackings around the corner until a week ago. Todd's over there, one call eating, so.
Very good sandwiches.
Yeah, I didn't know you guys were back here. I've been eating Quick Trip for like a year. You're right in the backyard. You could've done better. Yeah.
They were, I had my first one there last week myself.
Yeah. The rumor has it it's very good, so. Yeah.
Slice of heaven, they speak of snooze.
Yeah.
Be
Sounds
free
like
order.
a voice of experience. Maybe. Okay, well, we've seen her on the. Yeah, yeah, we were just gonna build a model home there, but as soon as we got down here, everybody's like, are you gonna have commercial space? You can rent, you can have commercial space, you can rent, so. Let's see what the logical choice. Hopefully business in
Bunch of your businesses in Rome, and
Yeah.
that was to Clover, and
Yeah.
you guys have things going in Clover too, but.
Yeah, we build 20 houses a year. 13 or 14 are in the Stevens Point, Rochelle, Marathon, Mosini area, and then we're getting 7 or 8 houses a year down here. So,
Narrow down to central Wisconsin.
yeah, I like it down here. It's sand, not boulders and clay.
I bet.
Yeah, Stevens Point and surrounding areas known
Yeah.
for boulders.
Yeah, yeah, I got one in Alden that was Volkswagen's bigger, about just bigger than the equipment out. So we're trying to figure out what to do with those. Fortunately, he's in the side of the hill, so I think we can roll him down the hill, but it's still gonna take some work.
I think the farmers of old use what they call dynamite.
Hey, you used to go get it at the hardware store. What happened to that?
Make little pieces out of big pieces. Yeah, we'll catch your own then.
Just wondering if I want to stick with that.
You never know when those issues are gonna happen. Are they negotiating prices? Was it 2 weeks ago, we had, one of the gals from the sewing club was interested in the clerk treasurer job. I think, no, Melissa. Is she on there?
Yeah, they're just.
It is. It's all good. You stick around, it's good. I won't. Yeah, I'm gonna stick.
If I do, it's gonna be just short term, but not here.
He's got a, he's got a new baby schedule.
I got a new gig.
Yeah. Baby's
I got my new job starting at 26.
Excited for that. Where we need a hole in the ground, and there's water on the bottom.
Yeah. Right, get the witching sticks up. I can
Gonna
still
take
do
the
it.
one from the building over here.
Yeah.
How are they gonna find water?
That's right.
So
You guys take care.
Be good.
You will, thank you.
Burns Way retired, or it's going to,
I am,
not quite done.
not quite, but I am starting to enjoy it. Take care of that.
Rise up this morning, smile, brightening up. And he just posted it.
Nice.
The sun's rising in January now. Not yet. We're going to. 8:30, yeah.
Good night, Wendy.
You too, huh?
Yep.
It's good for your diabetes.
Oh, no, a little bit.
Okay.
Oh.
I just can't remember if I printed this one.
I think I heard something.
Bring us in.
The last two diehard people have stuck it out.
Okay.
Technically three, Wendy's here too.
Well, she has to stick it out. You didn't necessarily have to stick it out. You could have just wait to hear tomorrow what happened.
Boy, you guys can clear a room.
They did their job. They got rid of it. No, you're still recording. Do not say that. Well, everybody left, so all the
I
body
suppose
heat
all the
left.
body warmth went with them, huh?
Yes. Oh, and it never got warm today. Although I'm enjoying this weather. It was comfortable, very comfortable.
It's very cold in here.
Great. I'll be in North Dakota next week. I wonder how warm it's going to be out there. I'll have to look. Where's the weather forecast for North Dakota? It's currently 71 degrees in Bismarck. Oh, but by Tuesday it'll be 93. Yay.
I'm happy it's 93 somewhere, right?
Well, by Tuesday here it'll be 89. Okay, there's your weather report. Tell me the weather report.
Yep.
That told me it sounded like they are, huh? Alrighty then. The board reserves the right to enter into open session authorized by Wisconsin State Statute, Section 19.85, Sub 2, to possibly take action from the closed session and continue with the agenda.
Move that we return to open session.
Second.
Second motion.
Fight over it, guys. All in favor, oh, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Oh,
Oh, roll call.
oh, yeah. Roll call on the left.
Capel, yes.
Minter, yes.
Jamadi?
Paul,
Yes.
yes.
All right, yes.
Okay.
7 o'clock.
So we had,
As an action from part of our closed session, I move that with regards to the compensation of the interim clerk treasurer, that the interim clerk treasurer be compensated at the budgeted salary of the former clerk treasurer, beginning from April 24th, 2023, until such time as the new clerk treasurer has been successfully hired. And upon the hiring of the new clerk treasurer, that the deputy clerk treasurer's salary be raised by $1 an hour for her services as training officer for the new clerk treasurer of the town of Rome.
You mean it would revert to her previous
Oh, yes.
salary?
I'm sorry. Her salary will revert to her previous clerk, deputy clerk's treasurer's salary, plus an additional $1 an hour for training of the new clerk treasurer.
I second the motion.
is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Additional motions?
Madam Chairman, with regard to the second item in closed session, I move that the board approve the CTW proposal for a licensed operator in charge at $1,500 a month and $75 when on site.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Oh, actually getting to them.
Could you please communicate that with CTW in the morning, just so they're ready to go for Monday? And if they need anything signed, if they could forward it to Robbie to give me, and we'll get it to the chairwoman to sign.
And then, for Robbie's sake, so she understands, we'll be having additional discussion, at our next board meeting. Right?
We did.
Yes, we did.
I'm sorry,
It was unanimous.
That's all right. It's going to be a long night already.
Should have some of Jackie's wine.
I got chocolate blueberries if that. Alrighty. All right. So, item number 12, discussion and action. Approval of the June 1st, 2023 meeting minutes.
I move that we approve the June 1st, 2023 meeting minutes.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second for approval of the June 1st, 2023 meeting minutes. Any more discussion?
I just had one minor correction on number 7 would be after subpart B, there's a paragraph that has the email addresses for the town and Visit Rome. The Visit Rome email address is incorrect. It's visitromewi.com. It's a minor thing, but just so if anybody went to that other one, they might be going to Rome, Italy or something, so.
Do we want to make an amendment to our first and second to?
I'll
make that
amend it
change?
to include the change.
I'll agree.
We have an amendment to the first and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13, discussion and action. Checks, vouchers, receipts, and journal entries. Approve checks number 45329 through 45408 totaling $847,154.50. Auto payments totaling $58,840.16. State Social Security Medicare withholdings totaling $38,154.09. Payroll vouchers V 20441 through V 20496 totaling $102,963.34. Receipts number 24574 through 24720 totaling $186,636.61.
Move to approve checks, vouchers, and receipts as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the checks, vouchers, receipts, and journal entries as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Right. Moving down to item number 18. Discussion and possible action. Chairwoman Jamati's request for supervisors to approve. I'm trying to help Wendy here too, because we had already covered the rest of those earlier. Chairwoman Jamati's request for supervisors to bring 2 priorities for the next 2 years to be shared in developing a planning retreat agenda. So we'll start with Supervisor Capel.
The first one I had is to develop and advertise with an RFP for 55-plus senior housing in the Rome Town Center. And the second one, I'm not sure if I want to go with what I had based on our previous meeting, but I will. I think we have to spend some real time developing the what's my terminology? For the conditional use for the energy project. I think we have to really invest some time and effort in that over the next 2 years so that we get it right.
Can I try to interpret that? So pre-planning for the joint development agreement with, on the solar?
Yes.
Excellent.
Thank you.
I
Perfect.
had to wing it.
He helped you wing that. Alrighty.
So my 2 would be, the first one would be to look at a comprehensive communication plan that allows us to communicate effectively with our town taxpayers and residents, which are not necessarily the same. And in a variety of manners. That would be my first one. My second one would be to look forward to these opportunities that we may have in the next several years, where we will have sums of money, additional monies coming into the coffers of the town, and the most effective way to use that money to both potentially reduce the tax rate and also to potentially leverage some of that money for larger capital type projects, whether that be roads or equipment and so on, building repairs, replacement. I don't know if you have any replacements planned, but, so that's my two.
Excellent. Okay, my first one would be focusing on community planning. That means actually having, I'll leave it at focusing on community planning within the zoning department with an emphasis on that in the zoning department. And actually piggybacking, Dan, I agree with Supervisor Minter, and that we have fiscal planning moving forward as we talk about capital improvement plans for the town overall, or fiscal planning, focusing on that. Forecasting, I would say, with our capital equipment plans, capital improvement plans overall for each department for an overall plan. And since he actually emphasized it better than I did, I'm going to say then for another one would be increased emphasis on taking town in our pride in our town with beautification and cleaning up our roadways, our side roads, the main corridor in the town, the Gateway District. Supervisor Cole?
I would say looking further into dealing with the questions brought up on our waterways, safety on the water, and the issue of the wake boats. That seems to be something that's been out there and floating around for a couple of maybe years now, and just to really come to some kind of plan for that. And the other one is not so specific, it's more to understand really what we want the identity of Rome to be. What are we seeing? Who are we in 5 years? We hear about rustic charm, we're seeing development. How do we balance that?
Excellent. Good one. Supervisor Bauerheit?
Jackie actually took one of mine, but I have I have a backup one.
We could steal from each other.
Well, they took mine, I had to come up with like level C. We should have
Over
started.
the last 5 years, I have watched the growth of short-term rental money coming into the town of Rome, and I've been hesitant at budget time to ask for an increase for Parks and Rec. It's been $25,000 for the last, since the Park and Rec Committee has been established. I think it's about 5 years now. So I would say to our board members that come budget time, I would hope that we could look to increase the budget for Parks and Rec sometime, and I would hesitate to put a number on that right now, but I have one in mind. The other item that I think we ought to talk about is, we've talked about roads extensively here in the last couple of weeks. I don't really believe, unless I'm mistaken, that we have a set plan for maintenance of roads, whether they're secondary roads or primary roads, and there ought to probably be two different plans based upon road usage. So I would ask that our Public Works Director at some point in time in the near future come up with a maintenance plan that he could agree to and that might be reasonable for the town to fund.
Perfect. And you missed that part when you guys left. They had to depart us early. We actually ended 15 minutes after you folks left, and we're coming up after we get our meeting minutes. We'll have a summary and then kind of what the next steps were, and that was part of it.
Okay.
So it was budgeting and next steps and coming up with an overall plan. So thank you. But those are all great ideas, and we'll work on getting that together for our retreat, and some of those items are perfect. All of them are perfect. Great. Thank you very much. So, do we need a motion aside, or can we just move? That's great. Thank you, everybody. Awesome input. I appreciate it. All right, so, number 19, discussion and possible action. Update on area zoning enforcement efforts.
Brief memo and chart in your packet. Again, the town was divided into those 5 areas, and the chart shows the total individuals, the 988 that received tickets, that now 557 have come into compliance, that 357 are still non-compliant with 74 showing progress. 29 tickets were issued in Area 1, and how those tickets were handled is below there on the chart. And then the compliance versus non-compliance, and in the feeling of our incoming CSO team, Community Service Officer team, and zoning, if you are in progress, you're still technically non-compliant because you haven't become compliant yet. So it's that the compliance and non-compliance is taken off of the totally compliant number. And then the reevaluation there of noting when those areas are gonna be re-inspected. Area 2 is up for re-inspection. We just had the new CSO officer join us, and they will be getting out to go through Area 2 shortly. The individuals that are not compliant, out of those 55, if they have not shown progress or contacted us in some way, would be the next area that would receive citations.
And can I add one other thing, because I think I'd be remiss if I didn't respond to it as it's noted on the chart. The bottom left chart shows some of the dispositional aspects of tickets. I would just note that where it notes as dismissed, just to give you a bit of additional information regarding how we've treated citations that have been issued and what led to those dismissals. The only time that there would be a dismissal of the citations and were dismissal of the citations were when there was compliance on the property. And so those would be read in to the judge. We'd review updated photos of the properties. I can tell you that of all those 11, there were significant reasons for holding them open to allow them to get the property cleaned up, but only those that were in compliance were dismissed. That was a condition of any dismissal. There were no dismissals that weren't cleaned up. Just
And the ones that were not compliant went through the court process and were fined?
Yeah.
so, with the caveat that it sounds like some of them that are noted as not compliant are like going to be cited. So if you're asking from the
No, I'm
standpoint
talking
of
about
the
the
ones
tickets that were issued.
the tickets that were issued, if they were not compliant, which we had a couple that were discussed and held open and not compliant, then yeah, they were issued the citation. So nothing was dismissed that.
They were issued a citation. That's different than being fined in court.
Okay, so the only ones that didn't have the fine, okay, are the ones that were dismissed. So the ones that, for some reason, whether they had a pretrial conference and I held it open for a period of time to allow them to clean it up and they didn't, then during the review, we reviewed that in court and they were assessed the forfeiture.
Okay.
Just a question, so you'll go out in May and on these dates for the second due date and check the properties that were not in compliance to see if they're in compliance? Okay, I understand that. So then what is the process to generally start it all over again? Because you're just looking at the non-compliance. What about things that have come into non-compliance?
Yep.
Did it make that sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
so a big piece of that was bringing on that CSO officer, right? Because previous to this, we had the intern that helped us get through it. Our plan was to go 5 years and do a cycle. We sort of got done all in 1 year because
Faster.
of that assistance. The overwhelming number of these were brush and timber, but they were looking for some other big items that we had identified, like unlicensed vehicles and a couple other things. Now with the CSO officer, we need to finish the schedule to hold true to these individuals because they've all been issued letters.
Okay.
Once we're done with this, we'll go back to our 5-year plan and the CSO will evaluate Area 1 for those major zoning items. We're not targeting an item, we shouldn't be targeting an item, but they'll be viewing for 2 sheds on a property, storage in Lake District, campers on lots that don't have permits, etc.
Okay.
Yep.
It's disheartening to me that we're still looking at 36% of the people who have not even bothered to respond in any way and are non-compliant still.
And that's only one part of town you're talking about.
No, that's the whole town.
Wait a minute, you're 43,
If you take out the 74 that are working on it, they're in progress.
Oh, if you
That
take
leaves
out-
357 non-compliant, that's 36% of the total.
I see what you're saying, Bob, I'm sorry.
So, I don't think our objective here is to issue tickets. It's to, foster compliance and understanding with what our code provisions are.
Well, you were raising your hand too. Was that your question, Supervisor Capel, or what was your?
I just would like Emily to place a map of the 5 areas in my mailbox, please.
Oh, sure. I could actually email it to you too, but
That's fine.
I can print a copy.
I just don't know.
So
what they
is there like a second letter that's being issued or a third letter that's being issued to these people who have not responded? Maybe they can't respond for some reason, I don't know.
No, so as the letters sent with the due dates, so everyone has already been issued 2 letters. The next step would be the issuing of the citation and then going back to Area 1 to see if there are new items or if there are items that are still not completed. So everyone in these 5 areas have already been issued 2 letters.
Is there something that we can do to actually, is there something that can be done to actually move this process, even with the CSO officer? I mean, because we are getting to a place too with code enforcement. So besides dead brush and timber issues, and Emily needs to be freed up for zoning issues, and now we have a big project on our doorstep. So, I mean, what can we do to push this along? Are there this used to be something that Chief Franz used to do, and I know Chief Kane used to do it, and Chief Taub used to do it. I mean, is there some other staff members that can maybe get into place to help with this process again?
Potentially, and I would say that these, Emily does take the majority of the calls that are.
She is still taking the majority even with the CSO. I don't know what the plan is using that CS officer, so.
With the letters that have been sent, she's taking the majority of the calls. We will start to transition some of those items. Our CSO officer's been with us about 3 weeks, so.
Oh, okay.
So we've got some lead up time here. And
Okay.
that's why I say Area 2's not quite, re-inspected yet. I'm sure that they'll do some joint ventures, and, I expect we will get through our 5 areas this year, and then.
Okay.
I would say that our approach prior was really the 5 areas because we could really be thorough with 1 area a year. I know we sped up that timeline because we had the extra help, but the
Right.
process of all the follow-up and it takes time. So I think
Right.
we, getting through this and then really starting to focus on that 1 area a year will help alleviate some of that stress, that condensed workload.
Is it possible that some of these people who are non-compliant are also delinquent in their taxes? So maybe we have bad addresses or something like that?
Anything is possible, but I don't know that to necessarily be, I don't know a specific situation of that.
I don't
We have had
understand the
situations
correlation.
where properties have sold, and then we do have to start the process over with
All
the
over
new
again,
owner. But most of the realtors in town are aware of this process and the push, and have tried to communicate that in sale, or handled it in sale.
Well, anybody have any other questions, or? I'll just keep plugging away at it and,
I mean, we still got 56% compliance. I know it's not 100%, but I mean, it's half more than we had.
No, it is
I mean-
visibly better, I think.
well, in some areas of town.
It's unfortunate that we have some areas of town that are outlots, and we've got like 550 acres of outlots just in Camelot alone that are basically hardly getting addressed.
Okay. Right. Discussion and possible action, dialogue regarding procedures for brush and timber piles still in the road right-of-way and remaining winter storm damage.
So at the open discussion on maybe some potential actions. I
Did you
know
provide any documentation or paperwork for us, or?
I didn't provide any recommendations at this moment. I can tell you that Public Works is still out trying to brush right-of-ways where they know that there are trees down and to chip those. They'll continue to do that as they are able through the summer months. But as far as individuals that have brush that's maybe in the right-of-way that maybe we're thinking it would get picked up or have added to piles, certainly the CSO or any of the police officers could have a conversation with those individuals to say, it can't be in the right of way, do you need assistance in getting it moved? Are there, do you have a method to get it moved? But I also would open up the conversation with the board on potential ideas.
I know I got a letter one time, a long time ago, saying that I had brush in the right of way and I had like 30 days to get it fixed. And I think we ought to adhere to that.
I think the only problem, I agree with you, Bob, but the only thing that complicates this just a little bit is that some of this brush was put out there after that winter damage. And there was the notice that you needed to request the pickup, but it seems some people didn't see or read or bother with that notice. So they still put their things out, cause they saw their neighbor had things out. Some got picked up, some didn't. So there was just that confusion. But I think if you open it up to say, if you want things picked up, give us a call. Now you're gonna get everybody putting more stuff out there. That's not the solution. So I think you proposed a reasonable solution that they can contact, and if we're able to help, we will, but you also can't always account for people who don't read things and
Or we're confused,
or confused, so, that's unfortunate. But you also wanna get this stuff cleaned up, so I'm not giving much of a clear answer, I'm just trying to talk it through, I guess.
Right, yes?
Well,
You're allowed to have input,
I
sure.
have gotten a lot of calls on this from people, and I just tell them they have to remove it, that it's now their responsibility.
Pretty
And
much
most of
time
them
has
say-
passed
Yeah, and
since
most
that.
of them say, oh, okay.
Is this a
Just wanted to say
issue
that.
of, for Dan Minter's clear communication to our residents?
Yes.
It should be
We need
clear
to, we need to
communication.
do something, because we do have quite a bit in the right of way, and we need to remind residents that we're finished with our pickup, and if they put brush out in the right of way without calling the town, they're responsible for clearing it away. And see what happens.
I mean, at this point, we would put, if we did a flyer, which we certainly could, we would put on there, if you did not have means to call 911, or not 911, excuse me, not 911, 211, you should call 211 and see if you could get connected to resources to help assist in getting it, transported from the property. We've had other individuals, again, that may not have financial means or physical means, and 211 can help to connect them to resources.
So it gives them an option.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a good plan, and also, with some of the winter storm damage that remains, as long as we keep vigilant on getting some of that stuff picked up, because it does look bad and it is a potential fire hazard, that's also helpful.
I guess I'm recommending not necessarily a flyer per se, but something on the Facebook page, something on our webpage
Website.
that reminds folks that, brush pickup is over, and anything in the right of way that you place there is your responsibility. And see what happens.
And a
See if
better
we can't mitigate some of it at least.
And a better communication and thought process
Well,
when we
I'm not-
do
yeah,
have
I'm not
programs like
suggesting
that.
threatening or anything, I'm just reminding them.
No,
that's
not
their
threatening people,
responsibility.
no. But when we do think of things like that in the future, having a better communication plan and a thought process behind it would be helpful. But, okay, any more discussion, or we've got that covered? So something on the website and, okay,
Get that done
the
pretty
Facebook
quickly.
page?
Maybe send out a notice to all email subscribers.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, if we put it on the website, it'll go out as
Yeah.
news and notice.
Good.
All right,
Put it on the posting boards.
Put it on next door.
yeah, don't, you're funny, not. All right, number 21.
Look at the crowd that came tonight to the meeting.
Discussion and possible action. Review updated draft of strategic plan public input online survey.
So there was a updated survey in the packet with the input that we had collected from the last meeting. Just looking again for some feedback, if those items are accurately reflected, and if there would be any other changes to be made.
I think I had asked to have water quality, water safety, but I think that should be clarified to mean on the lakes or waterways, because if I read this, I might think it's drinking water.
Yep.
Not sure the right word for it, you'll come up with it, but when I read that, at first that's what I thought. I would be confused. Are we talking about drinking water or boating safety?
Okay.
Under police and fire, I had asked that we add, I thought I had asked that we add ambulance, but maybe not. I thought I did, but,
You can add ambulance.
and then underneath number 5, post office creation and access, I know that you got a definitive no and I got a double definitive no, but I mean, if we're gonna leave it on there, we might get a lot of, I want one, but we know pretty well for sure that we're not gonna get one. So I don't know, is there really a reason to leave that on the survey?
Yeah, I think if you leave that on there, you're giving false hope. that There's
Yes.
a potential, and I'm pretty sure we've been told no.
Well, I know by the Postmaster General in Nakusa, he's given me 2 definitive no's in the last
So
year and a
I
half,
think we're
so.
misleading people,
Yeah,
that
they
we
give
could
it-
do it if we put it on there.
Yeah, I'd say
They
take it
given
off.
us a definitive no about a business subcontracting to have a postal substation? Because I know, like, there's one up in Rib Mountain at one of the gas stations. There used to be one across the street at the gas station.
Well, we could say substation, you know.
We're never gonna get a post office,
Right.
but maybe there's a business that would like to have a substation. We
Could
can
it
phrase
say
as
postal
substation.
services?
Like
Postal
for-
services.
He's already told us.
We know Quick
Has
Trip
he said
doesn't
no to
want it.
that as
They've already
well?
turned it down.
Has the postmaster?
I would say you could do that if you had a business that was interested, however, I don't believe there's any business in the community that will step forward.
No, I would take it off.
Yeah, and Wendy just said he said no to that as well.
Good Lord.
Well, that's why Daily Drugs closed theirs. They just,
It's a lot of responsibility, it's a lot of extra training for staff.
And
it's
USPS
an
is-
extra expense.
In trouble.
I would say we take it off, otherwise we're just, like Bill said, or Supervisor Capel said, it's false hope.
Okay. Very good. We'll take,
We'll put that one on next door, Dan.
if you're listening. Yell at the postmaster in Nakusa.
No, he's a very nice man. All right, any other ones here? Let's see. Housing and variety availability, I like that one a lot. Here, based on what you see to priority specific to short-term, rate the following, yeah. Any others?
I think it's ready to go with those
Our
changes.
second kick at it, so I think
Yeah.
Those are small changes, I can have those, to Bill tomorrow. Is it okay if then we would proceed with starting to a releasal plan of the survey?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Should we have a
that keeps you on
motion?
your schedule.
Should we have a motion and a second?
I move that we release the plan as discussed here tonight.
I'll second.
Right, so we have a motion and a second for approval of the strategic plan public input online survey as presented this evening. All those in
it was
favor?
modified.
Oh, the modified, thank you. The modified strategic plan public input online survey as presented this evening. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Number 22, discussion and possible action, approval of the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, project funds used towards crack filling, sealing, and striping of the library parking lot.
Do you want me to make a motion first, or do you want me to?
Yes.
Explain? Okay, I move that we authorize the expenditure of $7,000 of ARPA funds for the purpose of crack filling, sealing, and striping the library parking lot.
I will second for discussion.
Okay, thank you. So, I'm bringing this request forward on behalf of the library board. There's been a number of unexpected, larger expenses at the library building. Some relates to removal of the trees for the planned walkways by the master gardeners in the back, which we are covering out of library, capital funds. Apparently, there is also an electrical issue going on at the library that has now progressed beyond the ability of town staff to do, so we are going to have an electrician come in. And we believe that we can cover that probably out of some library funds as well. Then the issue has come up now with the parking lot, and with the addition that was put on last year, we probably should have, when we put the pavement down last year, we probably should have just put a small coating over the whole thing and then put some stripes on, but, it really needs to have some maintenance done. It's used a lot by the public, so that was my reasoning for wanting to request ARPA funds, to assist the library in that unbudgeted expense of sealing, crack filling, and striping the parking lot. Striping's really necessary for decent parking.
And my understanding is that they have to seal coat as, the new portion that went down. Jamie,
They have to seal coat both. If they do one, they
Have
can't
to do
stop
the
at
other
the new portion.
right.
They would seal coat.
I had hoped Brad would be here this evening, but it did get quite late for staff to be here.
Isn't it a little bit early to seal coat the new asphalt?
No,
I think it has to sit for like 6 months, isn't it?
it's
been
over a
since-
year.
It's okay. I took a look at it, and going ahead with a seal coating will preserve it.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
That's,
I
and that's
think
what
it's a
Brad
good
had
move
said.
to do it now.
The one question I did have for Brad, and I'm looking at, both of these, quotes that we did receive, and it actually, if I'm understanding these correctly, we can choose one or the other.
Yes.
And it didn't end up being quite as much as we anticipated. So the one that I'm interested in the most, which I wanted to ask, but I think we can figure this out on our own. Asphalt emulsion includes an ingredient that makes it less, if I remember correctly, what John had even talked to us about, but anyway, I'm leaning towards the Aero Precision, not only because it's lower and saves money, but the first part of that says a cold, and Bill, you would, Supervisor Keppel, you would know, 2 coats of a coal tar sealer or asphalt emulsion if requested, and I think that the coal tar sealer will actually be a better seal coat than the emulsion. And it's less. Do you know?
I believe the Aero Precision bid is good.
And,
we
and
could
for the
go-
coal tar sealer versus the emulsion.
The emulsion is warm, the others is cold. That's the only difference. You're gonna get
Oh,
a
the
seal,
other
you're
one-
gonna get a seal on it. Usually when you do,
But they're suggesting that one, 2
it's
coats
an oil-based liquid
Versus-
that goes down.
versus something that has a different additive in it, and that seems to be
It's
something that's
water-based when
peeling.
it's an emulsion. There's water in there, so it
That's-
flows better.
It flows better, but that's what's
I believe-
causing problems in different townships that
Fine,
like
let's go with the Aero then. That's good.
I think the Aero bid is good.
But I wanna go with the coal tar sealer. Not the emulsion base. That's got the water in it, and that's what we're sealing problems with on our roads. That's what Ben was talking to us about. The emulsion based. Do you see the difference there? It says or, it
Yeah.
says or.
They didn't circle one or the other, so we don't know which one we're getting.
It's
Two
it's
coats.
giving us a choice. He circled 2 coats of coal tar sealer or asphalt emulsion if requested. So if you wanna amend, if
So,
you,
yes, I would amend my motion
To say Aero
accept the bid by
Precision.
Aero Precision for the seal coating, crack filling, and striping of the library parking lot, with 2 coats of the coal tar sealer,
in the amount of,
the amount of $6,000.
no, it's
No, so
3,
it's the amount of $33,280 from ARPA funds.
and I'll amend my second. All right, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right.
So we voted on the roadway, Madam Chair. What about the request for the $7,000?
Well,
Well,
that was the
yeah,
original,
7,000,
yeah, that was,
Okay, that's all you needed?
Yeah, that's it.
All right,
Yeah.
okay.
that's what
So
the
we're
library
getting it done.
board,
They wanted funds to stripe and seal coat
Okay.
the parking lot.
I
They got
wanted
it.
to make sure I was
Thank
clear
you.
on that.
yeah, that's
On
what,
behalf of the library board, thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. That's what the library board originally thought it
We
was
haven't
gonna
voted on
amount
it
to.
yet.
Huh?
We haven't voted on it yet,
Didn't
We
Yeah,
just
we
did.
did.
did we? I'm sorry.
We didn't vote on the 7, we just voted on that.
Voted
That's
on
what
that.
my question was.
We have two other topics.
Yeah,
under
we do.
this.
Okay, so, the next two were also my requests. I would like them to be more for discussion only, and I have to really run. So can we put off 23 and 24? till the
Sure.
next
But
meeting,
we
please?
didn't finish, the item with the, which item was it, where we have 3 items for approval on American Rescue Act.
Right. I
We're
would
gonna-
like to
we're
request that
moving 'em.
items 23 and 24 be moved to the
Oh.
next board meeting.
Oh, I see, they have separate numbering on here,
Okay.
gotcha. Okay, I'm up to speed.
And I would also ask that perhaps if the town, if town staff could, for item 23, is it even possible to put trees around those cemeteries as opposed to fence? I don't think we've ever, we talked about it last summer, but then I don't think we ever really got into that discussion about using trees rather than fence. I'm thinking like white cedar arborvitae, because they grow really fast and they live
But
a
the
long
deer
time.
eat arborvitaes.
What?
Deer eat arborvitaes
Yeah,
like
they love 'em.
Okay, we
tulips.
don't want any deer food.
Yeah, no
We'll be putting
arborvitae.
together, some sort of.
Some sort of, see if there's something out there.
All right, we'll move number 23, 24. To move them to next
I move that
agenda?
we move items 23 and 24 to the next board meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, you need to leave, Dan,
No,
or?
I couldn't finish this off.
All right. Number 25, discussion and possible action. Approval of a request from the Wisconsin Trap Shooting Association to waive the standby charge for emergency medical responders at the Wisconsin Trap Shooting Event, July 11th through the 16th, and tentatively June 10th through the 11th, and June 24th through the 25th, based on department availability.
I move to approve the Wisconsin Trap Shooters Association request to waive EMT services for the 3 events that they're going to be holding this summer.
Second.
I did include a brief memo in the packet with a fiscal impact. This is about a $2,000 waiver of fees and the letter from the trap shooters with the request.
Where would the money come to pay for this? Would that come out of the community donations?
No, it'll come out of,
Revenue from the fire
it'll come out
department.
of part-time expense because the part-time wages out of the fire department. So it would come out of the part-time wages.
And this is only a estimated amount, right?
It's estimated. We just took the average across the board of staff cost. So it could be a little higher, it could be a little lower.
Is this done for other organizations?
Nonprofits or not-for-profits have the ability to ask the town board to waive the fee. For-profits are charged.
And have other nonprofits asked to waive the fee? This is a nonprofit, correct?
Yes, and it notes in their letter that they are a nonprofit organization. But for-profit have been charged.
But have other nonprofits
Oh,
not been
yes,
charged?
Yes.
Is generally waived? Or
It
it's-
has,
I believe there's precedent.
yeah, it has been in the past.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Number 26, discussion and possible action. Approval to expend $224 from the community donations account for flowers purchased for around the flagpole at the Rome Town Center.
Move to approve the payment of $224 from the community fund to pay for the flowers around the flagpole.
I second it.
Any discussion?
Who's gonna take care of them?
The Public Works Department, they help to water them and look after them. Master gardeners help too if they need. And we did previously have a very large donation that came in from a community member that covered the cost of the flowers for several years.
So we have a motion and a second to, yeah, we did. We're getting, have a motion and a second to approve to expend $224 from the community donations account. All those in favor?
I got
Aye.
one comment to make before we vote. I would recommend that town look into purchasing wildflower perennials that could go around the flagpole so that we don't have to buy annual flowers every year. I mean, it's good for this year, but for future years, let's look into buying things that are gonna come back every year.
Why don't we contact the master gardeners and ask them if they'd be willing to take over the plantings at the flagpole?
They have helped to tend them in the past. We could ask if maybe they could help with a plan there.
Right.
Okay. Any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and possible action, approval of renewal for Class B combination liquor license for the period of July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. Hoozle's Lakeside Bar LLC, 1497 Alpine Drive, Nacusa, Wisconsin, 54457.
I move the approval of Hoozle's Lakeside Bar combination liquor license for the period of July 1st through June 30th, 2024.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second for approval of Class B beer liquor license, beer license, and a Class C wine license for the period of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Oh,
So
Nick?
I think you read the, number 24. That was the avocados one.
Oh,
It
did
was
I?
Just technically, just for the minutes, it was a motion and a second to approve the renewal of the Class B combination liquor license.
For
Oh,
Hoozle's.
Oh,
She said
goodness.
Class C.
Oh,
She
I'm
read
sorry,
that.
I thought I
Oh.
heard Class B.
As long as
Oh,
you
Class
got
B
the-
combination, oh,
It's gotta be the combination license.
combination Class B, oh, liquor
I
license
do
for,
have it that way, so.
That was the motion.
The motion definitely was, it's just when it was reread, she went
Yep.
to the line down. The minutes reflect it correctly.
thank you for the clarification. All right, so dates and items for future agenda meetings.
I don't think we resolved the deer abatement question. If there's any more activity happened on that.
Lots. I can give an update at the next.
Yeah, she had it in her meeting, or in her, meeting update, so yeah, that's a good one to bring back.
Just because someone asked me about it.
Yep, thank you, Jackie. And then, a closed session for, Chad had asked for an exit interview. So, for next agenda items, we'll set up a time for him to have an exit interview.
Why wouldn't the town administrator take care of that?
Because he requested it.
A full board meeting?
He requested it.
Well, just because he requests it doesn't mean we have to grant it.
Would think as a long-term employee, if he requested it, he must have some reason for making the request. So I would want to hear what he has to say.
What other items do we
Not
have?
on this item. I have another item that, or at least some background information. If you have any JDAs that you've been responsible for that we could get our hands on,
Yes, for
to give us
samples, so
some
we can learn.
ideas to start generating. I'm not necessarily putting this as an agenda item next
Yeah,
time, but
I was going to say,
background
so-
material.
Again, more from a pre-planning standpoint, I can provide some information. I am familiar with JDAs and the negotiation of them. Can I just, though, ask it, because it's not really for an agenda, but maybe just for purposes of this moment, just to give you an update that I will be working with the zoning administrator to get a couple other documents as well, and then we will compile those and
Okay.
give you guys an update. So we'll be working together on a couple different things. One of those are exactly what you're asking for.
Okay.
Nick, should we get a motion and a second on that request
Which request?
for the exit interview, if that's, would that be more appropriate, or is it fine just as a next agenda?
Just
item?
as the next
It's just
agenda?
next agenda item.
All right, thank you.
And then I did have, I had made a note, I think there's a closed session for the water utility office.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh, that doesn't need to be Oh, yes, because we're talking, okay, yes.
Yeah.
For the administrative.
Yes.
And items number 23 and 24 were carried forward from this
Right.
agenda.
Oh, and look at your August calendars, so we can set up a retreat date to discuss our priorities.
Be good to bring calendars to do whatever the second half-day session for strategic planning would be too, so.
Yes,
could
because
put
we have that coming up July 10th.
Scheduling.
So when would that survey actually start going out then?
Very shortly,
Okay,
Yeah.
that'll be great.
because they had through the 16th to provide public input. I think we have a couple that'll be after that, but they've been scheduled, and we could start the survey in between that time.
Okay.
How many were participating or have participated?
I would just have to ask Bill for an update, but I would say it's someplace around 16.
I
Does that
think
sound-
we're at a total of, I think after when I talked to him, I had mine yesterday. There was maybe 3 or 4 more, so that would make like 22. 22. And I'm actually pleased to say that Michael's doing one.
I know.
Pleased to say what? I'm sorry?
Michael,
Michael Kaiser's
Kaiser.
participated in that. He inquired, of me if I thought it was a good idea that he participated, given that Mr. Carbiner and, Baker Thompson had participated, and I told him I thought it would be a good idea, and
oh,
so.
Baker did?
They did it together, and so
Excellent.
he has agreed to participate.
Great. And if you're interested, everybody, if you're interested, the state statute you might want to get familiar with as we get into those discussions and things in future meetings on solar and wind access permits is 66.0403.
Madam Chairman, I have a couple items too for next agenda.
Sure.
Yesterday, Tri-Lakes approved the cost sharing for the wake boat survey, and I would request that we send the survey out per the agreement that we had in February. The second item I have is talking about the garden club and flowers. I noticed that when you walk in the front of the building here, there are weeds growing along the sidewalk, and it just doesn't look very good. I think we ought to have the Public Works Director give us a proposal for fixing that area up or revitalizing our agreement with the garden club.
We've already sought out bids to do new rock. We also, you may have noticed, the plow caught the rock here and pulled a series of it up. So, first, Public Works staff on Friday will put into their regular schedule about getting the weeds treated so they don't get worse. And second, we've already sought out proposals so those rocks could get replaced along all of Town Hall and the front of the police department. So
I would remove the rocks and have more of a planting with bark or something there to hold the weeds down.
Can we, I actually like Supervisor Bauerheit's proposal that we discuss it before you have them remove the rocks.
Okay.
So we can have some
Fine.
idea of a plan.
Okay.
Because if we have rocks, why remove the rocks?
Beautification of town hall.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I like his idea. You know, because those rocks aren't cheap. You know?
Rocks in, rocks out, it seems.
Yeah, really. Let's beautify the town hall. Rocks in,
Rocks
rocks
on,
out.
rocks off.
Yeah.
But, and yeah, and the cost sharing on the survey, now that they approved that money, let's go back and see what that original vote was, and we'll have that discussion about mailing that out. Okay, anything else, anybody? We got everything? We'll think of more. So, all right, next meeting date and time.
I have a request.
Oh, yeah,
Could we hold the agendas to under 20 items?
nice try. It's first of the month, so
Well,
I think we'll see what we've got.
I'm saying focus. Focus, focus, focus.
Well, you can focus, but anyway, we can certainly try, but it's not always that easy. But thank you for the suggestion. Next meeting date and time.
July 6th at 5 p.m.
Oh, well, everybody have a beautiful 4th. Boy, did that come up fast, huh? All right. Meeting adjourned.
7:52 PM.